What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network or on the YouTube channel today as we're doing our live five-star Grand Prix 2024 preview. With me to start this show, once again, I think you've been on a few times now, but Peps, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm always welcome, or like I always am happy to be on the show. I asked on the recording if I can be on the show, so I'm glad I was allowed to.
hmm Yeah, I don't know I don't think I've ever done a live review right off the bat with guests. I don't remember what I usually do for these. I'm not gonna lie to everyone. Like, I didn't go back and check. I should have, but I do know that I like to do live previews for the five star. This is a weird timing of the day because it's just how it is. The tournament starts Saturday. We'll have the video on demand. We'll also have the show up on the feed. This will be the only episode this week because it is the five-star Grand Prix. It is the big topic point in the world of Joshi right now. It is the biggest tournament. It's the biggest women's wrestling tournament in the world, and of course I'm very excited to dive into it this year. Obviously very different. We're breaking it down to 4 blocks, 7 competitors per block, lots of shows in very little time. I believe we're 12 shows in 21 days
21
or
days,
so.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
insane.
it's a lot. It's a lot, but we are going to lock in and do our best to cover it here today. We're going to go block by block. We're going to try to break down and give our final picks. We should be having another guest join us later in the show via Dylan. So should be a little bit chaotic, a little bit of fun. If you're listening now or later, thank you so much for doing so. And hopefully, if you've never watched a five-star Grand Prix, we can inform you. Or if this is your 7th, 3rd, 4th, 5th time here, hopefully we can get you excited for the big tournament, which again kicks off on Saturday. Peps, I'm going to ask you this right off the bat. 1 out of 10, what is your excitement level at for this year's five-star Grand Prix?
That's a difficult question actually, because overall I wouldn't say I'm low on Stardom, but I'm not as high anymore as I was a couple of months ago. But the 5 star say specialties. It's always, in my opinion, the best month or two in Stardom, because everything they do is just at least good to great, and every show is at least good to great. And there's only a couple of shows, even on this
Mm-hmm.
tour. There's like maybe two shows that don't look good, where you
Yeah.
don't expect to at least have two good to great matches, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes it 5 star so special. So I would say, well, before this Hamamatsu show, I would have said a 9.
Okay.
Now I'm at an 8.
Okay. Okay. So it took you down a little. I'm very excited for this tournament. The five-star excitement has officially kicked in for me this week, as it always does. I think getting used to the new blocks, getting used to really this new stardom has been an experience for me. If you listen to the show, you know it's been an experience for me, but it's the five-star. Like, that's the way I look at this. And after last year, this feels like a redemption five-star, right? All the injuries that added up, right? Sayaka Tani on night number 1. Utami got hurt. Starlight Kid got hurt. You get the point. Did Julia get hurt? No, she didn't actually get hurt, but everyone got hurt, it felt like. And the end of the tournament, that final night that's always so amazing, ultimately was not as great as it often is. Had a great final, obviously, with Suzu and Micah, but this year feels like a new chance. And obviously, there's a new regime. There's a lot to enjoy. Thank you, Jeremy, for listening. About to get educated on stardom. Let's go. Jeff, all hail hate. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk. We're going to talk a lot about hate today because they're in every block except for one. And in the one block they're not, there's other things to talk about there. But my excitement level, if I was to go, 1 through 10, I think I'd land probably somewhere around like 7.5, going to get closer and higher towards 8, 9. Probably by the end of this episode, I'll be at 8 or 9. But I'm still very excited. and night one looks incredible. We will preview that by the end of this show. And there's just so many great matchups to be excited about with this tournament. So, with that being said, let's get into it. We're going to go right into it. We're going to start breaking down some blocks here, starting with Red Stars A. The Red Stars A block is as follows. You have Maika, Hazuki, Ruaka replacing the World of Stardom champion Natsuko Tora, the Wonder of Stardom champion Natsupoi, Konami, Manami, and Yuna Mizumori. So obviously this block has went through a lot of change over the past couple weeks. The biggest one being Tora leaving the tournament, being replaced by Ruaka, who, yes, was in the play-in tournament and got disqualified, all for her to just end up in it anyways. Tora taking off the tournament, which we'll kind of get into here because I do think that's a pretty big deal and worth talking about as well. But we also have to talk about the fact that Natsupoi is now the champion of the block, and she said in an interview with Tokyo Sports earlier today, I believe technically yesterday, our time, she said that she is looking to make the Wonder of Stardom Championship the top belt in Stardom with Tora out of the tournament. She wants to make that belt shine brighter than them all. So something to watch throughout this turn. Obviously, when it comes to champions often get title challenges through this tournament. You look at Hazuki as one, you look at Konami as a possible one as well. And obviously, night number one, we'll have Maika versus Natsupoi in a big time match. So, Peps, when you look at this block before we get into wrestler by wrestler, how are you feeling? We're doing all this 1 through 10 rating here. In terms of your excitement for this block and potential matchups, where are you sitting at out of 1 to 10?
This is a difficult block because it's like it could be like from if we go in quality from 1 to 10 as well. It could be anything from like a 3 out of 10 to a 8, and it's pretty much built around what's Konami going to do and what can Raka, Manami, and Yunaman achieve in the roles. And well, I'm gonna be real. I think it's a solid 5 out of 10 block. You have the top stars with Maika and Poi. You have the workhorse, in my opinion, with Hazuki and Manami, Yunamon to some degree at least. And I believe that Yunamon can have at least a solid to good match with everyone not named Raka. I'm sorry. And then, of course, you have kind of the hate members. The problem is with the hate members, with Dylan, I'm likely the highest on Raka, but I exactly know what Raka's going to do in this tournament because we have seen it in her past singles matches, in the past outings, and it's going to be, well, pretty much an off night. And Konami's all about if she's motivated to actually wrestle or if she's going to lean fully into this hate thing, which
right
either could be good or it could be underwhelming.
I'm worried about the double hate in the block, to describe it better, but we do have Dylan here, so we'll just get right into that as well. We'll go the 3-person block.
I heard someone kind of talking a little bit of crap about my girl Ruaka, the what is it, the Deadly Freezer? What's her nickname now? We were just talking about this, Peps.
The Violent Freezer.
The Violent Freezer, yeah. Yeah, hello everybody. It's Dylan Murray of Stardom Quest. In case you don't know. Funnily, I'm going to let Scott take it back because I just kind of jumped in on a whim. But I would say the only match I'm confident Ruaka will have a good match is against Unimon, because they already did the bad Unimon match. And like in that match, there was like 30 seconds of like, oh, these two work really well together. So I imagine they're going to like do like the 50-50 of it all and have Ruaka versus Unimon be the one match that's like more straight laced. Whereas all the other ones, Ruaka probably just, Ruaka's it. But yeah.
But so you haven't considered that it also could have been the good Unimon match.
So, Dylan, before you got in here, what we're doing is we're going through each block and we're going to rate them out of 10 in the level of excitement for each.
Mm,
But we're going through this one first. We'll talk a little bit about some of the specific competitors in the block. Somehow this just became a Ruaka conversation, which is crazy.
always happens.
Out of everyone in the block, I should have known. But what is your excitement level for Red Stars A?
Peps, what did you say?
I said a 5, but I said that it has the potential to be like an 8 out of 10 block or a 3 out of 10
Okay.
block.
I would say a 6. Because I wanted to see if I was being too harsh, by like going like like a 5 or 6. So I would say I would agree with you. There's enough good here. You know what I mean? Like Natsupo's great. Hazuki is still the workhorse of the roster. Um, Minami's tremendous. Like these wrestlers are good. But these two women dressed in black just sort of attract your eyes and are like, oh, that's you know. And when
I
you
do
look at the
like that they're
schedule,
surrounding Natsupoi. I just
I
find
mean,
Yes.
what I also would throw in is just I have no clue if some wrestlers just decide if they have a deep tournament, no, we are going to get slower on a day, which easily I could see with Mike or with Hazuki, if Hazuki advances as an example.
yeah, I
It's
think
just as like okay, 5 minutes, I will do my typical spots and that's it.
I think you look at this. It's like the thing with Suzuki is that she's such, and I mean, you could say it's similar with Micah, such high end wrestlers, but
Mhm.
like you also know that they have those days where they just like, if even if they maybe not they can't be asked, but like they just like it just doesn't click for them. We talked about it on Stormquest. That's like Hazuki had that really bad match with Tam last year that like nobody expected to be like anything less than like okay, but Hazuki just wasn't there for it. Tam wasn't there for it. They just wrestled until they no longer had to wrestle anymore, and it was really bad. So I think that like that's a similar case with a Micah, and those two are kind of expected to carry this block alongside Natsupoi. So it is difficult in that sense. Um, that even the high end wrestlers, you always have to worry that it's like, oh well, uh, Hazuki and Konami will either be really sick or it'll just be like, oh man, let's move on to the next day, like that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
My hope for Konami in this tournament is that Ruaka is the one taking most of the heat in this block.
Hmm.
And when I say heat, I mean
Yeah.
like the DQs. I would like to think they're not doing both because ultimately Konami is in the top 4 in terms of value for this block. When you look at it, it's Micah, Hazuki, Natsupoi, then Konami. I'd say in terms of importance. And one thing I will also say about this block, I will give my rating, of course. I would go probably like I'm thinking like a 6.5. I'm again going half. I actually feel good about it because I think the likes of a Minami and Unimizumori actually lifted up a lot. They'll be overlooked by a lot of people who are just scanning through these blocks, but Unimizumori puts a lot of effort in her
Yep.
matches. Listen, she's not going to go out there and probably
Yes.
have many matches that near 10 minutes, let alone 15 minutes. But they're going to be, really strong efforts against the likes of Micah, Natsupoi, Hazuki. And I think it can be interesting, like you said, with Ruaka. I think there's a possibility that those two just have a fun powerhouse match. And the same goes for Minami, who's going into this tournament looking to prove something and put her name on the map. I think that's something kind of worth talking about within this block is that Minami's been overlooked because of how many other outsiders we have, right? We have the AEW's Anna Jay, we have Risa Sarah, and then we have just like a lot of new people in this tournament overall. Obviously, we have Inaba as well. I think Minami's being overlooked, but at the same time, she's a really, really good wrestler. If you watch Sendai Girls, if you watch her this year, she's been a great tag wrestler with Ryo Mizunami. So I'm excited for her as well. I think her against those big three is going to be at least one or two exciting matches in there. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm a little more positive on the block than both of you, but not by too much. Now,
Yeah,
bef-
just
go
to
ahead,
add something
Peps.
in for Unamon. I believe, if I remember correctly, she has like the top 4, like back to back to back to back,
Yeah.
something like that. I believe
Ooh, I have it open.
I believe she has No. She has a day off. Then she has Micah,
Yeah, so it's
Natsupoi.
she's off
Then
day 1, and then from the 11th, the 12th,
yeah.
15th, and the 18th, she goes through the top echelon of the block. Then she gets
So
Minami later, and
no, Manami's
oh
correct,
no,
but I
Konami's
don't
early.
think
Yeah.
that will get like more than 3 minutes, considering it's 14 matches on the show. So, but yeah, I believe like going into like day 8 or something, people will call Yunamon either an overachiever or they will call her one of the MVPs, in my opinion, with that opponents if she gets enough time against each wrestler, because those are the matches that will matter to her from an in-ring perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think, when I look at this block, obviously the main conversations and this is how we're going to do who comes out of each block. We're going to talk about it as we go. So, obviously, I think everyone kind of looks at, again, the big three of Micah, Hazuki, and Poi as the three to go out there. But I think Konami, obviously, very much in the conversation as well, kind of representing hate and possibilities, especially on the Blue Star side of if Saya Kamatani is not making it to the final, which I have a tough time believing, there's always that chance that maybe Konami's the hate representative against someone on that side. But again, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's worth bringing up. Paps, I'll ask you, when it comes to Micah, what match are you most looking forward to for her in this tournament based off of block play?
I mean, the obvious one is Natsupoi, because that's the first time I've met her for her. She has said in an interview that she's really excited for that one. I would guess, looking at that card, it's either the semi-main event or the main event. It's all about if Maya vs. Tam draws or not of the first night. So they will get the time and they will likely go close to All Out. That's likely, from an in-ring perspective, the one I look forward to the most. From a performance itself, I would say actually it's a Unamon match, because Mike is always someone who gives a lot to her wrestlers, and she and Unamon had some interactions on tag team matches that where we obviously saw that Micah saw something in Unamon. So I'm really interested how they would do if they get like 10 minutes in Shibuya and just try to tear the house down.
Yeah, I think those are both good. Obviously, I'm not obviously surprised with Poi and Micah. Makes a lot of sense, especially that being night one. When you look at the night one card, it's absolutely insane how stacked it is with, like, if you look at each block, it feels like the biggest match is happening from each block on that show, outside of maybe one or two. But it feels like the biggest matches are already happening. Dylan, when I'll go right to you with Hazuki. Do you feel any which way in terms of what match you're most looking forward to when it comes to her run in the tournament?
I'm looking at I'm looking at a lot of them, honestly. I mean, I think Hazuki, despite my previous statements about, like, there's definitely wrestlers here who, like, it could just, like, fall apart, even ones that you expected not to. I think Hazuki is probably I mean, she's my favorite of the bunch, obviously.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, but like, you look at it, even Unimon, right? They started a little thing on Twitter this past week where Hazuki's like, "Can Unimon just get the fuck out of my way, please?" And Unimon's like, "Oh, I'm about to beat your ass. Like, I don't know who you're talking to. I'm in your block." And she's like, "Yeah, apparently." That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think Hazuki really brings something out of a Unimon, out of a Minami. That last day against Natsupoi in Yamagata, the 25th, that's obviously circled a million times over. If Micah versus Suzuki was in Fukuoka, like it obviously should have been, and not the Sendai Pit, that would obviously be immediately, a match that you're looking at. I think even like Konami Ruaka, like, they have a higher ceiling because Hazuki just, like, is vicious, and she will match that, and she won't just kind of, like, get lost in the void of hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's possible she does. It's very possible she does, but I think that she, of anybody, is very competent in that sense.
Yeah, we will talk collectively about hate later, because I think it's very important to kind of just talk about them all at once in a way, because There's a lot of unknown that comes with the group still, obviously being mainly Saya Kamatani. But I will represent 6 star here, so I will talk about Natsupoi real quick.
Oh, yeah.
It's only right. I think when it comes to Natsupoi, she's going to be very determined. She's been very open about that since winning that title. This is like something she's taking as seriously as possible, which is good because I think in a current stardom that I think we've gotten past the uncertainty now. I have I wrote in my guide, it's not out yet, but I wrote in my guide for this tournament on voicesofwrestling.com how this almost we've talked about starts, right? New stardom and their starts, and there's been so much change that I almost feel like this is actually the start of, okay, we now move forward. We've moved on from some of the history, right? Queen's Quest gone, Oedo Tai gone. This is it. And there's no better way to, I think, get people interested and spark excitement than this tournament. And so I look at Natsupoi. She is the top champion in this tournament, unless you count the IWGP, of course. Then it's in the conversation. I still put the Wonder above that, though. She is the top champion. She's going into these matches to represent herself, to get that belt to a higher level than the world title. That is her goal. So I look at the match with Micah on night 1, and then she has the final night of block play with Hazuki. Obviously, those jump off the page. I think her and Hazuki can have an excellent match. I think that's going to bring us to a Wonder of Stardom title match. But I also think that if there's any of these three, the main three that are going to really work with Hate, it's going to be the underdog type wrestler like Natsupoi, which I'm kind of interested in how she works with Konami. Her and Ruaka will probably be like a quick nothing match. I'm not going to lie to you there. But her and Konami is an interesting one to me that I think can be really good depending where we go. Because I asked this nicely, I would like for Konami to have some great showings here because Konami, good wrestler. It's hard to predict what, again, Hate is going to look like within this tournament. We're still learning. We're still seeing. They have something to them. That's my dog barking. So my dog. That's my call. I'm going to give it to you while I stop my dog. So I'll kick it over to one of you two. You guys could talk about the remainder. So Ruaka, Konami, Minami, and Yuna Mizumori.
Well, we already talked about Ruaka.
No, we didn't talk enough about
No, you know what? You're right. Ruaka's not here. The 4 on the left are gone. I talked a little bit about Minami. We talked about Yuna. Let's talk about Konami and what we think with her.
Konami's fascinating. I think Konami scares me every time I watch her because it's just like, I mean, you look at the Rendezvous weekend, right? Like, I thought that her performance in the tag match was quite good. I thought her performance against Shuri was stinky poo poo. I think that is the dichotomy of Vampire Konami. Is that like there's I think there's something more here than there was in her original Wait Tai run. I think she just like her vibe is better than it initially was, but I definitely don't. I'm not getting my hopes up for any of these matches, especially because I don't think that any of these matches are specifically tailored to Konami. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you
Like
mean.
I like it's not like she has a Shuri here or even like a like a I think like even a Momo or a Mayu or like there's not a lot of like those older wrestlers or anybody in God's Eye for that matter. I just don't think that there's like much for me to like sink my teeth into over Konami. Though I think her results will be pretty impressive, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, from what I remember, Michael Konami had good chemistry, but then I always look at these Kurikan shows or the double block shows with a bit of a I'm unsure how much time the matches will actually get to a good level. So it's tough to say if they, maybe Michael Konami and the Kurikan gets like 5 minutes and
Have they said if it's 15?
I believe it's I would guess it's 15.
Okay.
Even then, you have
Just making sure.
14 matches on a Kurikan Hall show, which means some matches need to go short. And if you look at the card, they'll like at least 5 to 6 matches that should go at least 10. And
Well, I mean, you look at a Saeed Azumi, that'll probably be 14 seconds.
yeah, but
Or no, that's on
Momomayo
Yamagata.
should be
Hey, hey,
Momomayo
hey.
should be closer to 15.
We're doing schedule talk soon. You don't have to do
Yeah.
the schedule stuff yet. I got that lined up. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
Don't
Okay.
worry.
you're prepared.
Yeah,
You're
but
prepared.
Konami, I think
am.
Konami will be ffine for her role that she's playing. I would like Scott said earlier, Rucka's likely going to do the box stuff. Well, Konami has a spray paint that she will likely use to either beat Maika, Hazuki, or Poi, if not two of them, and then she will randomly lose to like Yunamon and Manami for some reason, and she either goes through with like 10 points or she goes out with 8. Something like that is going to happen with her. That's totally fine. I hope she's delivering, but I'm like Dylan said, I don't have much hope.
Yeah,
at least.
it's kind of like where I talk about hate now and I write about it. I kind of just only have the confidence for now in Momo because she's been in this role for a long time. This is a role that we've seen her perform under. Obviously, hate in Oedo Tai. It's a slight shift, but I know like based off of last year's 5-star, she can go out there and kill it. And she's in a block where she has no choice to. Konami, on the other hand, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, with Ruaka being there, I hope that gives her a little bit more freedom to just wrestle and hopefully put on some good matches. But let's pivot now to
Briefly, one thing I do want to say every time.
we've been on this block for too long.
I know. I'm just bummed that we're not getting Hazuki and Natsuko again because that's like
I know. That's
Natsuko's
the
best
big match.
match. Natsuko would have done very well in this block. That's the funny thing, but
Yeah. But I don't think she could have handled it. I think that's why she's
No.
not in it. So I think it was a smart decision to keep her out. Truthfully, it makes her fresh.
As
for
do I.
the post.
Yeah.
But they're gonna move actually over to Blue Stars A now. So y'all thought we were going to Red Stars B. You were excited, but no. We're going to Blue Stars A, which I actually like Blue Stars A. I've looked over it enough. I've looked over it a number of times. There's obviously the mystery here that is Anna Jay. We don't know how she's going to work with any of these wrestlers. And, I liked her promo on the press conference. I will say that. She's coming here to learn and get better. That's what you should be doing. Now, should it be in the biggest tournament of the year that you wrestle 12 times in 21 days? I don't know. That sounds difficult, but this feels like the ultimate. Okay, they saw what happened when Mariah May did this last year, and they want to see if it helps for Anna Jay. Anna Jay's had 19 matches this year. 19. She's about to nearly double that in a month. Not even, but 21 days, like I said. She'll also have a tag match. She has like what, 8, I think, overall. No, 7. Sorry, unless she moves on, because she does have a tag match on the 25th.
She'll probably
she's missing all in.
Yeah,
she's missing all in.
She'll probably tag with Izumi.
She's missing all in the team with Hina.
Yeah, with Hina.
That's really funny, actually.
It is funny. It popped me. But this block is really good. Like, this is the underrated block, I think, overall. Because you have Sayoriano, you have Shuri. Shuri, by the way, oftentimes in the conversation for MVP ever since walking into this tournament. She's just killed it every single year. You have brand new Starlight Kid who has been awesome since taking over and running Neo Genesis. You have Xena, who again has been awesome, and I think might be one of the most exciting new competitors of the entire tournament because of what she did against Micah and what she's just been doing overall for the past couple months. You have Koguma, who returns to the tournament for the first time in a while. Hopefully, if her efforts are there, she's going to be great. Then, of course, you have Anna Jay, who's going to be learning along the ropes, and we'll see how she does. And then you have Miyu Amasaki, who I'm very excited for as well. So, you know the role, and if you're listening in the chat, feel free to leave a comment. 1 to 10, how excited are you for this block? Dylan, we will start with you.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. I actually really like this block. Back in the day, they used to name Catch the Wave blocks. If I was going to name this block, I'd name it Optimistic block. Because I feel like everybody here is very much capable of having if Red Stars B didn't exist, this could very easily just show up and be the best block of a tournament this year, frankly,
Yeah,
because like
not
Xena
this year, but
is
most years.
most year. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that it's like Xena is insane. Starlight
Yeah.
Kid is in form more than ever right now. Shuri is always going to be Shuri Seriano. I think her style
Good
works
tournament wrestler.
under 15 minutes. It works under 15 minutes. It'll work against most of these wrestlers. I think Miyu Amasaki has really the opportunity to show up, and I think Anna
Exposed.
Jay is hell yeah, and I think Anna Jay is like I'm optimistic that she will. I feel like these
Improve.
wrestlers. I feel like these wrestlers are not going to leave her to die out there. I feel like they're going
They're
to
gonna help her.
help
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there are some wrestlers in the company who will like. It's a good thing she's not in a hate block. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, she does
her
better
and Saya
than
Kamatani is on the hell card of 2024, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If it were to happen, but you know, like I feel like these are all wrestlers who would like who could work very well with her. You know, even like
Yeah.
an Amasaki. I feel like that could be an interesting kind
I,
of work there.
I have been someone that has been I don't think Anna Jay's been all that great for most of her career. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She's like a 5-year rookie at this point. That's
Yeah, like she just doesn't wrestle enough. Like she
Mm.
has 115 matches to her name. She's been wrestling since 2019. Like that's not a lot. This is the type of thing where you send her over and we see what she can become. And I look at this as a new look at Anna Jay as a whole. It's like fresh slate. Let's see what you can do. You have a lot of great wrestlers in there with you. And I'm hopeful like the likes of a Shuri can try to lift her up and maybe teach her something within the 10 minutes that they're in the ring. It's little things like that. Peps, what is your rating for this block?
Yeah, I would go with a 7 as well. I believe there's if everyone is motivated, this block can be, well, not the best block, but likely by far the second best block of this tournament. Simply because of the first 4 names, and on top of motivated Kuguma alone can carry this block, and then of course adding in
Respect Miyu Amasaki.
Amasaki, who has been really good so far this year, and then kind of the wild card with Anna Jay. People have been saying, yeah, she will exceed expectations. I'm like, the expectation
not
she
that
has is having like 1-star matches. So whatever she does, she will exceed expectations. Yeah. But I believe she will be pretty solid in this tournament. Well, I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe her match against Kuguma has a chance to be the worst match in Stardom this year. If Kuguma decides to not do any of it.
No, that's going to be so funny. Come on now. Come on, that's going to be funny.
I know where you're coming from.
It will be the funniest match if Konami's if Kuguma's on her funny
I know
days.
Scott said we're going to go into the schedule, but it's also on the funniest card because it has like the most stacked matches in both of the blue blocks, and then that one. So it's like Shuri Xena, Kid in Amasaki, Suzu Kamatari, and Koguma Anaje. Tekla Risa Sarah even it's just there and it's very funny. Go on.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. But overall, I'm hyped for the tournament. Alex has said it on the other podcast. It will be awesome to see Xena, and I believe she will be one of the top names of this entire tournament.
Yeah, so to Brad's comment,
okay, I'm sorry. Quick. Hina's challenging Rina at the 5-star final. Okay.
Yes. Yes, that is true. So with Brad says Anna Jay being thrown into the deep end with this block, I'm intrigued by how she does and how she comes back. I'd love to see her train with Shuri before she comes back. I'm gonna guess she is, just based on the fact that she's teaming with God's Eye, and by default, that makes me assume things. So I'm gonna say, her working with Shuri is kind of funny. If she just comes back with like some sick kicks, you're welcome. Just saying, you're welcome.
I would think they will train her matches or like a bit talk about her matches pre-show in the ring when they are all training or something like that. They don't have time for dojo because they're always on tour, but they can help her before the show starts, building up the ring and something like that.
A big reason that we have hope for this block. There are no hate
No hate.
matches.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
in
This
in the
block-
worst
this-
case, in the worst case, Anna J makes me hate this block. But
This
yeah,
this block has risen above hate. And we are
Shout
here
out
for
to
it.
John Cena.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm with Brad. Actually, I am at an 8 for this block. I'm very
solid.
excited for Miyu Amasaki. I've talked her up on the show unbelievable amount of times lately. I have a lot of hope that Koguma is going to come into this tournament and at least have some good efforts with at least the first 3. Like that's all I'm looking for. You don't have to try with everyone, Koguma. I get it. But give me some great matches with the first 3 here. You and Shuri could absolutely kill it in like 8 minutes, and I know you can.
I think
Hers-
Koguma and Xena would be really fun.
I would like to think so, but she's
Yeah.
going to take at least one night off. So I gotta just hope. I gotta hope here. But my excitement's very high for this block. The more I look at it, the more I get excited for potential matchups. Obviously, we have Shuri and Starlight Kid on the opening night. Sayori versus Anna Jay on the opening night as well. That'll be interesting to see. And then Xena and Miyu Hamasaki, which I'm looking forward to. So let's do the usual discussion. We'll talk about the few competitors here. I think collectively we should probably talk about Starlight Kid. I think she is the most for me, she's the most exciting in the block. Because I do think she will be one of the 8 when it's all said and done. I think either one of Sayori or Shuri are missing, and I think that's the right move because I think Starlight Kid should be elevated in this company right now. She is a leader now, so obviously it's a good start, but there needs to be more than just being the leader. I think her making that final 8 and facing someone from the other block, whether it be a Saya Kamatani or Sue Suzuki or some of the sort, that's exciting to me. She doesn't have to win the tournament. She can get to the semis. That'd be cool. But I want her to get elevated through this. She's now a faction leader. Now you have to show it in the tournament. And I think this is the perfect block for her to do that because one, she's going to have great matches with most of this crew, if not all of it. And I also think that, she benefits from having the likes of a Shuri in there with her on night 1. It feels like her chance to really show what the new and improved Starlight Kid looks like in probably the best match possible in this block. Peps, how are you feeling about Starlight Kid entering this tournament?
I mean, what you brought up with her getting to the semifinals or even in the top 8 is like a great accomplishment for her. It's something in general with this tournament that I quickly want to bring up. Scoring like 10 points in a 10 block tournament is like one thing, but advancing to like the top 8 is on paper something you can sell bigger because then you can like, yeah, I made it out of my block, regardless if the block is out of 7 and only 2 advanced and something like that. It's the same with the G1, and if she achieves that and has good matches throughout the tournament, then her role is like totally fine in it. She doesn't need to win. She doesn't need to be the final. It's not her year. Well, it's only one person's year, actually. Maybe 2. But that should be her role, and that's all she needs, especially now as a leader. Maybe even a winner with Suzu would do her well, but yeah.
Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I think Scott, don't worry, I'm not going on a tangent here. I think that my main thing is that it's like this is a new Starlight Kid. You know what I mean? Like this is because like I was thinking about it, it's like has Shuri and Starlight Kid really like had like a singles match? And they had one last year. It was the last day of block. I think it was Kid's last match before going out with an injury.
Yeah.
But it's like I was thinking about it's like that's a different Starlight Kid than we have today. I think that the past few years is a completely different Starlight Kid than what we have today. I think that she is somebody I am super excited to see because some of these matches are fresh, but even more so, all of them feel fresh just in the change in her in
bright colors,
her vibe. Yes, of course. I for as many articulate and very like complex things I say, bright colors good, dark colors bad is ultimately where my brain functions at. But really, the only match that's like that we've seen of her since leaving Oedo Tai is the Miyu match. Everything else here is fresh, and I love that. Even the Ano match earlier this year was good, but it felt like it was missing something. I think there is room there. And again, we talked about how Ano's a really way better wrestler under 15 minutes than she is in a big time title match. I feel like Starlight Kid just has like the world is her oyster in this block, really. I think there might be some stylistic clashes. I think her and Xena will be like an interesting match. Her and Anna Jay as well will be kind of like, oh, I wonder how that will really work. But I just think sky's the limit for real.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that because she's a Sky Tiger. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
I think so too. And also, there, when I think she should be one of the two, her connection to hate is kind of forgotten. She was just kicked out of the group earlier this year.
It was a really bad angle.
It was very out of nowhere. It was very out of nowhere, and so much has happened with that group since then that it's kind of hard to remember that. But that's another reason I think her making it to whether it be the quarterfinals or the semifinals is almost a must when you look at this block. And then we will talk about Shuri and Sayori here. I think it's got to be one. I think Shuri should be the one because of, again, the connection to hate. I think Sayori's been at the top all year. It's okay to come in third here, in my opinion. I also been asking for it all year. I'm going to keep asking for it now. Can we please get Shuri pushed again in some way, shape, or form? I know she's never going to win the world title again. I get it. I've accepted that. Hell, I don't even know if she'll get a title match anytime soon because her feud's with Konami, not Natsuko. But I will believe that maybe, just maybe, I can get one of the best in the world into that quarterfinal. That's what I want to see for Shuri. That's what I hope to see for Shuri. But I know they're looking to the future. But I don't think Sayori's like necessarily the long-term future either. She signed a 1-year deal, obviously. She had her World of Stardom title reign plus a week. I don't think it's necessary for her to advance, which is why I want Shuri to do so. I think Shuri versus either a Kamitani or Suzu, that interests me more. But what do you guys think about those two and who advances?
I'll go first because I think my thoughts are a bit more brief. The leader of the Godly Assault Nation should go through. I think that she's not going to win it because she's never going to win anything again. But
no.
She should go through and she should be protected on the level that she always has been. I look at it, I talk about it frequently. The only person with a winning record who still remains in this company over Shuri is Koguma. Everybody else has either like 50-50 against her or just lost more than they beat. And I think that should be something that kind of persists. Obviously that becomes a bit more difficult because there are a lot of new wrestlers. Her and Soriano have never had a singles match in this company, I don't think. Because they were in different blocks last year. Anna Jay is major upset potential against her, but I think that you should be protecting Shuri, and I think she is far and away the best hold for hold, pound for pound wrestler in the block. So yeah, I'm just hoping they respect her in the way that they should, despite her becoming, the leader of a de facto rookie Sekigun, I guess.
Peps?
Yeah, I can agree with Shuri there because, she's going to be one of the MVPs regardless whether she goes through or not, but she should go through simply because her against especially Kamitani is like a match that you kind of need to run. First of all, to give Kamitani more establishment as a heel, and second of all, because you already run the feud between Hate and Shuri, and there's a simple layup with just Konami screwing her over again, and just Kamitani goes through that they will likely run. That's like, okay, she will have the great matches. I would guess that like 1 or 2 matches go against her with like, oh yeah, that's a major upset, and she will win the top matches. And of course, she will have the best quality in this block. You said something about Anu as well, Scott. Anu, yeah.
Yeah. What are your opinions on her kind of tournament here. Do you think she should be considered to go through? I think after being champion for most of this year, it's perfectly fine for her to not advance.
I'm tired of her. Like I like
Damn.
her. I think she's a great wrestler, and I kind of wait for her tournament because she's like you all said, way better tournament wrestler. But can we just move on from this Saria News super push for the past 16 months now? At least for like a month or two.
16.
She has been champion for nearly the entire time she's in this company.
Peps, you were a DDM fan. This
Yeah.
doesn't work. This doesn't work.
To be fair,
I
she's one of
was a fan of the DDM loser.
Okay. to give Pep some credit here. Sayori Ano has won 5 titles in Stardom. She's won the Wonder twice, the Artist twice, and the Tag once.
Yeah.
So I'll give
Like,
you that.
I'm not even saying she should be totally out of contention of anything, but you know, she doesn't need to go through when others, in my opinion, with Starlight Kid needed more. So that's pretty much.
No,
what
I
Yeah.
totally agree. But
I would actually legitimately be angry if Sayori and Shuri made it and Starlight Kid didn't. I think that would be very bad decision making.
Well,
Yeah, if Shuri goes through and if Story goes through instead of Shuri, it's whatever. But Starlight Kid needs to go through.
Yes.
if there's one thing that we know, Taro Okada is not afraid to make bad decisions. I think that Starlight Kid going through over Soriano is like it feels obvious. It feels like they definitely should do it. I think they have to do it. But I don't think Soriano is a bad pick there. I think that the problem, like, I don't know. I've been talking about this idea that I think that the current regime is a big fan of, and it is ultimately
Sorry.
yes, but more specifically, it is the idols and the people who want to kill them. That's it. I mean, even Saya Kamatani's story was a story of purely idolistic stuff, and this idol being abused until she wants to no longer be like the baby fit. Like they really very clearly pulled into Saya Kamatani's like past as a idol. To the point where it's like, oh, that's how they turned her is with the whole her getting berated at a meet and greet, which is idol 101. Like, I think that's just kind of their vibe, and I think Sorry Ano and Starlight Kid have kind of equal reason to be going through. I think Shuri is like the other kind of thing, is like the one that should go through, but and in a story sense, it's like, oh well, you need to tie everything together. Shuri is a perfect tie-in because she is involved with everything at all times, pretty much. She's the mother of the company at this point. So she's always involved in some way. So I think like she's the obvious one, but with that sort of thought process that I feel is becoming clear that they have, Soriano and Starlight Kid going through wouldn't not make sense, because I have a feeling that like the Shuri and Micah are the two people who might get kind of lost in the what's the word, in the aesthetic of what they're going for. With the story between Hate and Cosmic Angels, and I think Starlight Kid is like we said, she's very colorful, very
I think they're
vibrant.
making Neo Genesis idols by default.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they feel like their entrance felt very K-pop. Their first entrance, and I was like, that's even if they aren't idols, but that vibe is also there. So I think Shuri's kind of the odd man out in that sense, though she has more ties literally to the current story of Hate.
Let's get to Red Star Speed.
Hell yeah.
Mayu Utani, Tam, Momo, Azumi, Meisera, Saida, Tomoki Inaba. This is one of the best blocks ever, based on who's in it, potential matchups, all hits, no misses type of beat potentially. When this was there was a reason this was the first block fully announced, because you saw it and you said, all right, no matter what, we're gonna have a great match every night. And that is, if you look at the lineup, you look at this block and you're like, oh, thank God this block is here. Thank God we have this block. It is as strong as can be. Obviously, you have the big three of Mayu, Tam, and Momo. They've been around for a long time. They've been at the top of Stardom for a long time in different ways. And of course, Tam is your heavy favorite. heading into this year's tournament. Then you have, of course, kind of the new blood of not I didn't mean that. I understand they call it new blood. I didn't actually mean whatever. You have Azumi, Mei Seira, Saya Ida, and Tomoka, who are all very excited, all very hungry. This is Mei Seira's first tournament, as well as Tomoka's first tournament. Excitement level for me, I'll just say it, 10. It's not, I'm not going to make this difficult. It is the highest possible grade. They stacked the block that has Mayu in it. I can't complain. I really can't. Can't ask for much more. You look at the potential matchups. You have, obviously, the first night is stacked with Mayu and Tam, Momo and Azumi, and Mei Seira versus Tomoka. Like, that is amazing. I don't think there is as much debate in terms of who leaves this block as the top two, but I think there's at least a discussion to be had. Do they send through Mayu, or does she fall out because she's a champion? I think that's part of the conversation here. But before we get to that, excitement levels, Peps, where are we at for Red Stars B?
10. No question. I mean, look at this block. The worst wrestler would be like top 3 pretty much in nearly every other block, so it's an obvious 10 to me. I can't. I mean,
you
I
don't
can
have
phrase
to
it doubtful, but
this,
we will do that in this entire
admittedly, I have less to say about this block than everything else, because it's like, it's amazing. What else do I need to say? Like, it's amazing.
I hope Saida scores 0. That's all I have to say.
Wow.
How fucking dare you? Okay, wait a minute. There's always an attack, and it's like ridiculous. I thought it was safe with Peps, the nice one of the bunch.
Attack.
This is ridiculous.
Hey! What do you mean by that?
No, not of the bunch of like you two. I mean of like the people I
overall
speak to. Yes.
Well, that's still me, but that's fine.
Yes, but you get your shots in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take over since Peps threw some shit and then started talking all that hullabaloo. I'm gonna go with like a stiff 975.
That's crazy.
I think this is, like I've said in the past, is like one of the best blocks like ever. If you, especially I think funnily enough, I think Tam and Momo are the two kind of like the only wrestlers who aren't like in tip top form like all timer, and that's because 5 years ago they were two of the best wrestlers in the world, like by far. And Mayu just keeps getting better, and they don't keep getting better at the same rate as Mayu because they're not the greatest wrestler of all time. So it's like that's where we're at, is that like the two kind of like weaker ones are only weak because in 2019 they were the greatest wrestlers in the world. So like when you look at it like that, that's kind of fucking insane. I love this block, obviously. I think there might be some like stylistic intriguing things, issues slash just like kind of like I think Ida is going to do better than a lot of people say she's going to, or like think she's going to, because this year she's. I think this year she's added in a high speed element. So like the Azumi match, which was always kind of an issue for her, going back, they were always my two favorite wrestlers. They never had chemistry together. So it was a very hard time when people would be like, "Oh, how was that? How was that Ida versus Azumi match?" It was like, it was bland. It wasn't very good. That was always a difficulty. But I think this year she really like was just like, "Oh, I could just like run. I can actually run pretty fast, and just throw shit at people. Like I can do that." So I think that helps her with those two.
It was
Her and Mayu have that tie.
Yoda headbutt woke her up.
Yes, it woke her up. She started. It was like cocaine. She just started going.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't do that.
Gas, no brakes. My bad. It lit a fire under her ass, and ever since she's been running really fast. She's been working really, a faster pace. So I think she'll do well against a lot of these wrestlers, and the other wrestlers she historically does well against. Her against Momo is very good. I think her and Mayu are going to do a lot of good work together. Her and Tam is a bit unproven. It's not a matchup I'm particularly well versed in. I remember very much, but I have no reason to believe it'll be bad. And Ida is considered to be by many like the weaker link of this grouping. Maybe Mei Seira, but Mei Seira again feels well, to some.
How dare
Like
you?
the point is, the last three are
Alex
considered
isn't
the
here. Okay,
This is true.
Alex isn't here.
Okay, the
Pay some
last three
respect.
are considered by many to be like the weaker links, and they're all great. Like, and
Yeah.
they all have like those tether matches, you know. Like I think Meisera and Mayu, Meisera Izumi, Meisera Ida is going to be great. Otherwise, Meisera is going to, you know, figure it out with other people. And I think, you know, the same could be said with a lot of these wrestlers.
Yeah, I think, you know, I look at this block, I think of the matches that are to come, and, you know, keeping Mayu out of this because I don't think there's really any misses for her here. I think every match, like, truthfully, I'm not going to lie, I think every match for her is going to be good, if not great, or higher. You know, I think Tam's been really good this year. I've said it. Dylan said it. Paps, I don't know if you've said it because you don't like Tam. Wow, did I say that? I said that to the people. Is that I'm just kidding. But I think Tam is.
The Micah fan is worried about Tam taking the spotlight. That's crazy.
I know. But I think like Tam's in a very interesting spot going into this tournament because I think she's very aware how important she is to this promotion as we sit here with everything that's going on and, you know, moving forward, and the idea that she's winning, to me, assuming she's winning, I don't know for sure, okay, but the idea that she's probably going to win this tournament, I think she's going to do her best to really turn it on, at least in the majority of her big matches. And when it comes to Momo, like I said earlier, she is the one of hate that I feel safest about because she's been doing this for a couple of years now. She's had good tournaments. Momo and Mayu is a tale as old as time. It just works. It just does. Momo and Azumi, I'm excited for on night one. There's the history there. I think Saida is going to do everything in her power to make sure Momo tries because that's what Saida does. And then Tomoka and Momo, listen, you can just kick each other. There's a solution to your match. You just kick each other for 5 minutes, and then someone wins. That's all I'm looking for.
Beyond this block just being great, I think Momo is like set up so perfectly to have a good tournament, more than like anybody else individually in their block. Because like Mayu is just Mayu, like it's kind of like obvious. But like even so, it's like you can look at a Saida and you could replace it with Hazuki, and Mayu would have a better tournament just inherently. Because Mayu's gonna get a better match with Hazuki than she might with Saida. Momo, the only singular person that like I can't see being like a 10 out of 10 match, maybe not 10 out of 10. That's a bit for me. That's a bit much, but not be like
crazy.
that. But like that, like has a lower ceiling than like really fucking good is Meisera, and that's purely a chemistry thing. Is that it's like I wonder how that's gonna kind of work between the two of them. Otherwise, it's like Momo has all of her best opponents for the most part that are still in the company, pretty much. Everybody you could ask for if you're a Momo fan is here.
Yeah.
You know, outside of like, oh well, you know, Micah.
The
like,
fact that she's not winning the tournament.
Yes, obviously. Cry. I don't know what people. Man, do you know how long I wanted Momo to win the tournament? And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done hoping for that. And people are still at it. Pedro, okay, I don't know how you guys do it.
They're fighting the good fight. They're fighting the good fight.
Are they though? Is it good anymore?
Well, I love Momo still. Like, you know, she shows signs that make me like, okay, I know it's still in there. I'm gonna catch you out of there. And then, you know, I don't. And then hate gets
and then she gets deeper into it, and it's like,
yeah. Yeah, Momo's the scary one, but it's like at the same time, I said that last year, and then she had that tournament. So it's like, and this block is just great. Like,
I think if Momo doesn't have a great tournament, I think it's actually over. I think that's
it's wrap up time.
Like I said, these are like this is fucking poetry for her. This is perfect. Like if she fucking whiffs, it's over.
Yeah, I look at this block and like there's very specific things I'm looking for here. I think the MVP comes out of this block, whether it be Mayu or an Azumi or someone like that. But I will say, I'm looking at you, Tomoka. Listen. Don't do your grapple shit Just kick people. You did it against Micah, and it was great. Okay, that's all I'm asking. I don't need you to do the techers. I don't need
Takaism.
that. I don't need that. I don't need the Taka stuff. I need you to kick people in the head because you're so good at it. You can
This is
headbutt people
also-
too. That's cool.
I think the only match that works for technique is her and Mayu. I think that would be really cool. Is them sparring
Yeah.
technically.
The
Otherwise, please
funniest
don't
would
do
be
that.
against Mei Sarah, though.
Yeah, please don't do that. Like I know you're both. I know you're both like classically trained. You know, Chigusa and Taka are two of the greatest trainers like ever. But don't. You know, like just don't.
Yeah,
Like
you don't need to do that.
save the tech stuff for maybe against Mayu, and otherwise just keep it away.
Just throw the strikes. You have great strikes. But the main conversation here is we got Tam in. We don't need to talk that much more about Tam. Tam's a lock. Who do you guys have as number 2 leaving Red Stars B?
Go ahead.
Peps.
I mean, going with my idea of what they are going to do with this tournament, I would think Micah goes through as 1 or 2, and they will likely place Momo on the opposite positions, either B1 or B2, and then they run the main event of Grand Queen back in Shinjuku phase in front of like 400 people.
Oh my
It will
god!
likely
I thought that was the main event of Grand Queen.
Yeah, that will be likely 5
God.
times better after, because we have seen what they can do in the actual.
I'm
match,
almost
but
gonna
yeah.
lose clean again.
My brain shut off
I'm
after
unsure about
Mayu
that.
versus Suri. I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely forgot that was the main event. Wow.
Yeah, like as much I would love to go Mayu through, because Mayu in a singles match in Shinjuku sounds like it sounds amazing, and also her having a deep run would also mean one more fantastic
give it
match
a
of
year.
her in Stardom. But for the story perspective and all of that, I believe that Momo would be the better choice.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I think so.
Or at least
Yeah,
the
I get it.
choice that they would rather take than go with Momo.
Makes sense for the story they're telling. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayu's interesting in terms of does she get through? She did say that if she's not,
I don't see Mayu losing it more than 2 matches in this.
I don't
one
either.
problem. I don't know. It's a
I
problem I
do.
have a general with this tournament. I don't know how those wrestlers go out there.
Well,
Like,
if
no, I don't.
Yeah, no, she can get high speed pin once at least. Then there's the possibility of a draw with Tam.
Yep.
And I can always see
she's losing
Momo
to
beat
she's
her.
losing to Momo. Yeah.
Right. So there you go. There is your way to keep.
Oh,
her
I think
out.
she's losing to Tomoka. I think Tomoka
Yeah.
I think Tomoka probably
That's
does
fine.
relatively
be your-
poor throughout the block, just like in terms of just like wins, and then she beats Mayu and everything's cool. Like it that saves it at the end type of thing.
Yeah,
I think a similar thing
get
they could do with Azuki, with Natsupoi to keep Azuki out if they need to. Where it's like Azuki does relatively poor and then she beats the fuck out of Natsupoi and it's like, hey, I'm cool.
It is worth noting
pretty much
that
everyone.
Mayu said if she doesn't win this year's tournament, it may be her last. So
Yeah, it will be her last anyway. So
sure will. But I'm very excited for this block. I think Tam and Momo make sense for the story. And then you set up Tam and Micah in that semi-final, block final, whatever the hell you want to call it.
I'm unsure about that, but we will come to that.
I agree. I agree generally. You know, actually, somebody
big matches though.
Somebody brought up the idea of Mayu actually winning here. Steve Davies, who is a fan of Stardom Quest, brought up the idea of Mayu winning and her doing like unification of the IWGP and the red belt, and her being the big hero there, and then having running her and Tam in the Tokyo Dome, which is obviously happening on the 5th of next year. You know, so like there is ideas there that it's like, oh well, maybe, you know, because I feel like the end point is Tam gets the belt, one of the belts or 2 belts.
She gets all the belts.
She said, hey, I want to be a Triple Crown, and I believe her at this point. But you know, there are ways to do it of like, you know, if they're still trying to convince Mayu of something, if Mayu isn't fully convinced, they could be like, hey, we will give you another 5-star. And then she'll be like, yeah, I don't care. But they could always do that. I'd be happy with it.
So the reason I don't think they're gonna do that is just because like and again, maybe I'm wrong. I can be wrong. The connection to the story has nothing with hate. Is not including her. Like the
See,
hate
Yeah,
thing.
but
I think
to be fair, that was the same for Tam Nakano until
until
2 days
a day
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Tora is the one that hurt her, so they could have just turned that into that easily.
I mean, and I don't know, I know you have
And she's
a
the
lot of
idol.
fans.
She's the idol.
Yeah, I don't
of
think you
Stardom.
ever brought it up on Stardom Road, so I don't know how many of your listeners kind of talk or know about it. Is that it's like years ago, Natsuko and Tam fought for entry into the 5-star, and now Tam is probably going to win the 5-star to fight for entry to beat Natsuko, and Natsuko
Yeah.
lost that entry match too. So it's like it's all as much as it feels like the new regime doesn't really like history. Tam and Natsuko is like just historically super synonymous with this tournament, with the fall and winter months. Like it's just kind of like
Yeah.
what it is. So like there is a lot there, but
Yep.
also Scott, don't argue against me trying to get Momo to win more,
Momo,
or not Momo, Mayu.
buddy, I'm arguing against something else with Mayu, not her winning. Trust me. It has nothing to do with that. Anyways, let's get to
You're
the final
dreaming,
block
man.
here.
You're dreaming.
Yes, I am. And we'll get to Blue Stars B. Oh,
I grimace when I look at this block. I'm not gonna lie. I like flinch. You know what I mean?
Man, it's tough. It's not great.
Which is fine. I like the majority of these wrestlers technically.
Yeah, I do too.
No, yeah.
I did.
No, but even still, it's like Suzu, Hanan, like Saki's funny, Rana's coming up, and Risa could be good. Most of the non-hate wrestlers are like,
Yeah.
not bad, but like Saki Kashima being like the spoiler in the bad block is not good. You know what I mean? Like in the block that doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't work as well.
Like man, and I know everybody, it's the beautiful block, but it would have been really funny if Saki Kashima was in Red B and had like all of these giants who are going to kill her, and she's like, "Well, fuck, we're
I
here."
think she would have worked well in Red Stars A too.
Yeah.
Especially, I would have liked it if Tora was in that, because Saki and Tora.
Yeah,
intrigued
like
me
I
greatly.
think in that sense, somebody like Saki, a lot of these wrestlers are greater than like the bundle of wrestlers. A lot of these wrestlers are way better than this clump of them together. They all make it worse, but they're not individually bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's something that's kind of been lost in translation when like somebody says, "Oh, this is a bad block," but it's like, "Oh, well, you love Suzu, you love Hanan, Saki's funny, Rana's a really good rookie." Like, yeah, but like, I don't want to see them together.
Yeah. The block is interesting to say the least. To go with the Scott scale from 1 of 10, I would, if I gave the Red Stars B block in 5, even though it might have been a bit too low, this is definitely going to be. This is likely 4.5 or 4, simply because just going through name by name, Suzu good, Hanan good, Kashima funny. Yeah. Risa Serra could have a good tournament, but if Risa Serra comes up with a average of like 4 out of 10, I would not be shocked. If Rana ends up being just a fodder and a night off for people, I wouldn't be shocked. Tekla will be terrible, and Kawitani is all about if she can perform or not. For Tekla, it's like the thing, she will likely get a count-out finish against Rana, will likely do stuff against Kashima that will go like a minute. So like 2 of her matches are like bad already or like non-existing already. So I'm not hyped for her.
Can we respect Risa Serra, please? Thank you. Lots of different.
I don't know about
Name me
you,
5 good Risa Serra matches, singles matches in the past.
I don't know about you.
8 months.
I don't know about you, but I just played it. I'm a big fan of Risa Serra. I think that Risa Serra and Tekla. I think Risa Serra could actually drag something out of Tekla, legitimately, because they have the ice ribbon combination. They're both kind of like the more
ice ribbon lore lives.
Fuck yeah, ice lore.
This is actually the ice ribbon block, so it's got Tekla, Risa Serra, and Suzu. What else do you need? Just missing Julia. Sorry, guys.
Risa
God.
Sera against Suzu can be a top 3 match of the block.
Yeah, like I think Risa
Yeah.
Sera is a I said it when she got announced that it's like she really doesn't take anything away from the block. The block was already not very good, but she doesn't take anything away from the block. And if anything, she like adds in a little bit of spice to some of these matches. Like I said, I think her and Tekla will either be very, very good. It'll either be Tekla's best match or it'll be her worst. There's no in between. I don't think, or there's an in between. It's very bland.
She was put into this tournament just for Suzu, and I think it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Risa Sera and Suzu is like the match of this tournament, or not of this tournament, of this block rather. It's one of the coolest
It's at
matches of the
Gorkin,
tournament.
so
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that it's like it's set up to be a really, really cool singles. So I like it.
For me, where this block is hurt is they're giving away the best match on night one. It is Suzu versus Hanan. That is my favorite match of the block
Yep.
in terms of just like, okay, this is
Straight
Stardom
up work,
talent. Here we
yeah.
go, and they're giving it away right off the bat. Obviously,
No, wait. You mentioned the wrong match.
no, I didn't.
It's night one is also Saki Kashima against Rana Yagami.
Oh yeah!
That's real. That might last maybe 30 seconds, maybe.
See,
I was
always
time.
I was so excited for the God's Eye match. I like even if it was Saki and Ami, I was like, that's gonna be like a fun Ami match. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
And now that will be fun.
I am looking forward to
all the
Rana.
interesting matches. Yeah.
To be fair, I am looking forward to Rana's tournament overall. I think she did a good job in the future block for Catch the Wave. But we're gonna make this simple. We gotta talk about who's advancing. I don't think this is as difficult. I don't think they're moving Hanan on. I just don't see it. I would be unbelievably shocked if any of the last four are moving on in any way, shape. Saya Kamatani's a lock, and I think she is the biggest lock of anyone to make it to the finals in this tournament. Because hate runs through her blood now. And the story of hate, because Natsuko's not here, now runs through Saya Kamatani. This is going to be a tournament of ups and downs for her. I don't know how many ups because I just don't know what heel Saya Kamatani is going to look like. I can't base it off of a tag match from the other day where she doesn't have gear yet. But she didn't let. Well, I understand. Like it's whatever. But my point is, it's like this is so Momo-esque when Momo turned so far, where it's like, all right, she wears all black, and she's cranky, and she's a high schooler that's angry. Like I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give her time. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to critique everything she does.
Did you see her shake Azumi's hand?
Yes.
Have you seen her stomp?
I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
Do the bleh, like the bleh. I'm making the face, but the bleh,
stick out the tongue. Pull the Itami.
With the eye.
I've seen it 150 times.
Bleh.
Listen. Breakups are hard, everybody. Okay, and when the breakup is so one-sided that one person can't let it go, they go to darkness. They go goth. That is what Saya Kamatani is doing.
Remember when Utami gave Saya Ida the win and not Saya Kamatani? Isn't that great? Don't you love that? Isn't that great? Oh, man. Utami's face. That's all I'm getting out of this Saya Kamatani shit. Bro, she's wearing Azumi shirts. She's letting Saya Ida pin her, and she's being like, "Oh, there was a second Saya that I worked with?"
That's crazy.
I forgot,
crazy.
Man.
She's saying, "Oh, I loved Riho." Tough for Saya Kamatani.
Like, when's the last time I saw Riho? I miss her.
Tough days for Saya Kamatani. But I think Suzu also just needs to advance in this tournament because I don't see them doing with Hanan. I would love it. I would love if Hanan advanced. But it's not a block that there's a lot of options here. Like there's not a lot of debate for me. I've seen how they've booked Hanan since the Cinderella win in the Wonder match. Not great. Not great. She's lost a lot. She beat Tam though. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have a lot of discussion here outside of like it's Saya Kamatani's block. Okay, so You guys can talk about it, but I'm ready to move on to scheduling.
I think Hanan and Rana could be interesting.
Oh, I think Hanum will have a good tournament.
Yeah.
I think she'll get the best out
Rana
of
is
everyone.
going to be so Rana and is going to be so interesting in the tournament because first of all she's a rookie and second of all like none of the wrestlers in the block fit to her style and that makes it so interesting and
See, but I think
she's
Hanan
forced
does
out of
to
a
that degree.
comfort zone with
Yes.
that it's going to be a tournament where she can learn a lot even though it might not be the successful one in terms of result. I think she gets like maybe 3 points max and also in terms of experience with different matchups, which she just needs to wrestle around Risa Serra match, an example, which is like something you don't wrestle at all in Stardom.
I agree with that statement that was on the screen there for a second. It
This
said the
one's
text was
valid too,
inseparable.
to be fair.
Also
This
valid.
one's very valid.
Man, I think I said
Brad,
this
you're
on,
absolutely right. Let's make it a
I
death
said-
match.
I said this on Stardom Quest. Risa Sarah should come in and have the prominence rule where she just says every match I'm in is a death match, and you're gonna have to deal with that. I think that would be ideal.
Kashima against Risa Serra in a death match.
Yeah, like Saikashima brings the street
5
clothes.
stars.
Like Saikashima can do hardcore stuff. Like she's good at that. Like she's
Kashima
it'll be
likes
funny.
to do
the
the minimum. Okay, Saki Kashima likes to do the minimum.
Yes,
Not the
but
max.
also, but no, I think the thing with Hanan and Rana that I view it is that it's like this tournament is full of bullshit. Ultimately, regardless, it's either a lot of heat, a lot of hate. It's a new
A
wrestler.
lot of hate. A lot of hate.
Whole lot of hate. This fucking block did not rise above hate. It sunk below hate, and it's in the pits of hell. But point being, I think Hanan and Rana will be like a little like glimmer of just like straight up,
Mhm.
Same with Suzu, but I feel like Suzu. I would not blame her if she checked out for the entire fucking tournament. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is just not like she gets the Risa match and the night one with Hanan. Otherwise, it's like she doesn't need to
She
try.
loves wrestling Saya though. She does. So she's gonna try there.
Yeah,
Will it work? I don't know.
I
But
commend her. But I think the reason I look at Hanan and Rana and that singles match specifically is just that it's like you'll be able to just see them wrestle with
Mhm.
no crazy roll-ups from Saki, no hate, no wild card and Risa Serra, and like I said, Suzu's great, but I think that match will be interesting for both of them.
I will give this a
also,
5.
yeah.
By the way, I never rated my excitement.
Oh, me neither. I'll give it a 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
also
3.
to add to your point, and also Hannah knows
I'm intrigued.
how it feels.
That's half of it for me.
Hannah knows how to be in the spot Rana is right now in the 5-star show, so she
Yeah.
will make sure that Rana
I
looks
could see it
great in her
being
match.
I could see it being an Azumi Hanan type match. You know what I mean? From
Mm.
last year, which was one of my favorite matches from the tournament because it like was just so much of them just like wanting to make each other look good, especially Azumi wanting to make Hanan look good. I think Hanan can really make Rana look good here.
Yeah, I can see that.
With that being said, there's like 2 matches I'm actually looking forward to from this block. It's not great.
Get to the schedule.
much.
So this is the schedule. We have shows on the 10th, 11th, 2 on the 12th, the 15th, the 17th, the 18th, the 20th, the 23rd, the 24th, 25th, 28th, and 31st. Oh my goodness. You don't realize how much it is until you start to make a schedule for yourself personally, which is what I've been doing. But let's get to it. Thank you, Dylan, for making such a beautiful looking schedule. We appreciate you. Obviously, cheap plug had to get in here. It's not really a cheap plug. You just made it, but whatever. Shut up. I'm just gonna shut up now. Anyways, opening night. We start Micah versus Natsupoi, Hazuki versus Minami, and Konami versus Ruaka in Red Stars A. Then we have Mayu Utani versus Tam, Momo versus Azumi, May versus Tomoka Inaba in the Red Stars B block. In Blue Stars A, we have Sari Ano versus Anna J, Shuri versus Starlight Kid, and Xena versus Miyu Amasaki. And in the B, we have Suzuki versus Hanan, Saya Kamatani versus Risa Serra, and Saki Kashima versus Rana Yakubi. I think the Saya Kamatani's first heel singles match coming against Risa Serra is not smart scheduling.
But it's
I mean, it kind
purposeful
of is.
scheduling because they changed that. Because that was one of the like 3 changes they made with the Rana, with Rana's involvement. Yeah, it's a choice.
I feel like wasn't she originally facing Rana?
Yes,
That would have been better for the heel.
but I think Rana's gonna get the upset over Sai Kashima. And they wanted that to be at the beginning and not in the middle when it didn't
knockout
matter.
kick. Here we go, baby. No, I get that.
Yeah, the thing is, it's an interesting matchup because first of all they have kind of a story with the catch the wave, but I believe why they did it on the first night is because let's be real, she's now a heel, she will brawl a lot, and against who can she brawl better than against Risa Serra? And that will be the match. She will brawl, she will learn how to brawl in this match. Will it be good?
War dog.
No, but it will be brawl. It will be a brawl all through it. Chairs, flicks, whatever.
So the question I'm going to ask you each time as we go through these schedule is match you're most looking forward to. Make it easy. And Peps, you cannot say Micah every time. I'm just telling you that now. You can't. You cannot. I know. And listen, I know Dylan's not going to say Azumi every time, so it's okay. But you might say Micah every time. I never know. That being said, I picked Mayu and Tam. So I already broke my rule. Not saying favorites every time, but Mayu and Tam's the one that I just have circled big. But there's so many great matches on this show. It should be awesome.
At least one great one from each block.
Yeah. It's you can make an argument the best match in each block is already happening on night 1, like I said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mayu and Tam, Suzu and Hanan, Shuri and Starlight Kid, Micah and Natsupoi. I think those are all, at least in the conversations, best match of each block. Peps, what match are you most looking forward to on the opening night?
Yeah, it's Mayu Tam, but because they don't want to be boring, I will say Mei Sarah against Tomoka Inaba for fun.
You could have said Micah this time.
No.
Yeah, it's like her. Yeah, that's funny.
This is her big one. Well, to be fair, we talked about it earlier though, so that's okay.
Yeah. I think Inaba Sarah is like such a mismatch on paper, and I'm like looking forward to how they will do in like 8 minutes. So
it should be.
But yeah, the best one is obviously Mayu Tam.
Give me the Inaba upset, set up a high-speed title match. Thank you. Dylan, favorite match on night 1.
I will also be different, even though Mayu and Tam is the obvious. I'm going to steal your other one. I'm going to take Suzu and Hanan. I feel like that's going to be a super fun sprint. That
my other one. You know me.
Well, because earlier you said that Suzu and Hanan's like the best match in the blue.
It is.
And I agree because like that is a match that will be very good. And like I said, it'll be a nice little sprint. Can't see it leaving 10 minutes. And that's okay. I think Suzu and Hanan just kind of throwing bombs at each other. People underrate Hanan's ability to be a bomb thrower in that sense. People who have not seen her future Stardom title run, and because the entire thing was like, oh, I'm going to kill you for 6 minutes, and that's going to be the gimmick. And now she's just a better wrestler, but she still is fully capable of doing that. So I think that with this loaded card where it's like Suzu and Hanan should not be getting too much time. Realistically, they could just fucking kill each other, and it'll be super fun. But yeah, I mean, obviously, all of Red B is absurd on day 1.
Do we think Micah and Natsupoi main event this show?
They probably should.
I think because Mayu and Tam.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I mean, the other contenders don't feel as big as Micah Poi, except for, of course, Mayu Tam. But yeah, so
right, yeah, sure. You have the top champions in the tournament, so either whether it be Mayu or Natsupoi. I think Natsupoi Micah's a good one. Started off strong. We go to the 11th, Red Stars only. Oof. That top one is not great. A is not looking great. You got Micah versus Yuna Mizumori, Hazuki versus Ruaka. Konami versus Minami. And then the B side, you have Mayu Iwatani versus Saida, Tomoka Inaba versus Momo Watanabe, and Azumi versus Mei Seira, which will be my most highly anticipated match because I've been waiting for it for over a year now, and I finally get it after all this time. You guys don't have to pick different ones, especially on the short cards. There's not a lot to pick from here. But this is a good one to pick from.
You see, we aren't picking up many wins this tournament, but the Hazuki match is something the Ruaka fans will enjoy, and we will win. Now, my obvious answer is Tomoka Momo Watanabe, but shout out Ruaka Hazuki.
Yeah, I mean, both of those two. Like, I don't know, Red B again.
Yeah, it's
like when Mayu is in the least anticipated match of her block on a day, that's a good day, man. You know what I mean? And again, like, I think Ida's tremendous, and I think it'll probably be a very good match. But yeah, I mean, Azumi and Mei Seira feels pretty foolproof. So I'm gonna go with them. But really, any of those three, and like Pep said, Hazuki and Ruaka could be a fun little Ruaka match. You know, if we're gonna get any of those fun little Ruaka matches, that'll be one of them. You know,
we will see Hazuki kicking the box away will be the loudest pop of the A block.
Fuck yeah.
If there's any pop on the show.
Yeah. I mean, Micah and Yuna will be fun, but you know.
Yeah, I can't pick Micah all the time.
Then we get to the split on August 12th. First show will be Blue Stars. You have Shuri versus Saori Ano. So the other big match there. Starlight Kid versus Anna Jay and Xena versus Koguma. And then in the B side, you get Suzu Suzuki versus Saki Kashima. Sayaka Watani versus Tekla. Oh, Hanan versus Risa Sera. Then on the Red Stars show, you'll have Azuki versus Konami, Ruaka versus Minami, Natsupoi versus Yuna Mizumori. And the B side, you'll have Tam versus Saida, Mei Seira versus Momo Watanabe, and Azumi versus Tomoka Inaba, with Mayu taking the night off. You could pick just one from this whole thing because I just counted as one show in my head.
I was gonna do two.
Well, you don't have to, so you're welcome. Good.
I like Xena and Koguma from Blue. I think that'll be a fun match for both of them. On the other side, it's like, you know, Red A is way worse when you read it like this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like when you just like look at the schedule, I was like, oh, this is not a great block.
Yeah, especially when one of the workhorses take like a night off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, yeah.
And the other is in a hate match. Then it's like,
yeah. So yeah, Xena Koguma, and then I'll say Hazuki Konami. You know, I'll knock on wood. I'll be hopeful. But yeah, those are mine.
All right. And then to you,
Pepsi Boy.
You can just pick one. I ain't picking two, so you can just pick one.
I mean, the obvious one is Shuri Anu, so I would pick that because I don't think of all the days is two. But shout out to Suzu against Kashima. I think that will be a funny one. So
I have picked Azumi versus Tomoka because
you're picking all the Azumi matches. That's the funny thing.
I'm picking all.
I
the
agree.
B matches, to be fair,
yeah,
I pick a B match every time. It's safe. Then we got Cork and Hall. Red Stars A, Micah versus Konami. Natsupoi versus Ruaka, and Minami versus Yuna Mizumori. Red Stars B, Mayu Iwatani versus Momo Watanabe. Tam versus Azumi, and Saida versus Tomoka Inaba. Then on the A side, you have Saori Ano versus Starlight Kid, Shuri versus Anna Jay, Koguma versus Miyu Amasaki, and the B side, Suzu versus Risa Sera, Hanan versus Saki Kashima, and Rana Iagami versus Tekla. I mean, I'm going to just pick Mayu versus Momo because that's my favorite matchup in Stardom. So I'm very happy to see it again. It's been a long time. I still think fondly of the 2021 match. It's one of my favorite 5-star matches of all time.
We watched it together a couple months ago.
Yeah, we did. It's amazing. It's still so good. It's peak. And I know they're probably not going to come close to it, but I can dream, you know. Should be great. And it's in Corkin, so Hallelujah. I have hope. Pep's favorite match from this card.
It's a weird card for Kurikan, but yeah, I believe the most interesting one for me is Suzu Serra, simply because you have the history between the two, you know what to expect, and Suzu at Kurikan Hall in the 5 stars always something you look forward to, or you should at least as a fan.
Mm-hmm. Dylan?
You know what I'm noticing? They save. Yeah, there's no 4 hate matches on any card. They keep it so that one member of hate is off of each of the double headers. In terms of blocks. I'll go Suzu Risa Serra.
They limit
Because-
the hate.
Yeah, so they keep it, like Yamagat. This show has Kamtani off of it. The first show has Tekla off of it, and the last show has
Momo and
Konami off of it.
Konami. And
Yeah.
Momo.
Yeah, Momo and Konami.
I do
So-
have to give them credit for that. I do enjoy saying hate rhymes a lot now. So thanks. Embrace the
Of
hate,
course.
rise above hate.
Hell
They
yeah.
have a lot of hate. I
Yeah,
hate
Su-
this.
You were so close. You were so close. But yeah, Risa Serra versus Suzu. We talked about it, but yeah, that.
Then we have Kyoto KBS Hall on the 17th. Sayano versus Miyu Amasaki in Blue Stars A, Starlight Kid versus Koguma, and Xena versus Anna J. And then B side we have Saya Kawatani versus Rana Yagami, Hanan
didn't
versus
change that.
Tekla, and who is this? Who's this supposed to be, Dylan?
I believe
You
it's Risa
messed
Serra.
up. And Risa Serra versus Saki Kashima.
That's
Maybe
messed up.
you're
Potential.
fired. You're fired.
Yeah, my bad.
It's fine.
Hey, they changed it. They changed it.
My
likewise.
match: Sayano versus Miyu Amasaki.
Likewise.
It's Miyu's
Yeah.
hometown. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone agrees.
I would throw in Anna J versus Xena because it could be the best match of Anna J's tour. So
Honestly, that is a very
Agreed.
strong blue A lineup. I think Kid and Koguma can also be very good.
Very solid. Very solid.
and that with a Shuri night off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Then you
block.
get Kobe on the 18th. You have Micah versus Ruaka, Hazuki versus Yumi Mizumori, Natsupoi versus Konami. And then B-side, Mayu Yutani versus Azumi. Shout out to you and me, Dylan.
Oh yeah.
So, Tam versus Momo, and Saida versus May Sarah. I'm just gonna pick the same thing that I keep doing. The joke of this entire thing was Peps, don't pick Mike every time, as I pick Mayu every single time. Mayu versus Azumi, obviously. Can't wait for that. God bless this B block,
Yeah, that's a
I-
good ass
Pe-
fucking.
Peps,
night of
I know
people.
yours is Micah versus Ruaka. I know it. You talked about Ruaka too much earlier for this not to be the time.
It's going to be a fun match. I mean, to not pick the same as you, it's Momo versus Tam. I believe they have good chemistry. It's kind of like the first hate match, and it's like the first singles match they have in like 5 years or something. I don't know when was the last singles match
crazy.
between the two.
Mike and Ruaka.
No, Momo and Tam. It was 5 Star 2019. That's
Yeah, that was a really good match too.
Been a long
See,
time.
that's the fascinating thing. They've kept I've talked about this a lot with the 4 block thing. Is that it's like I think generally, just like in terms of housekeeping as a company, doing 4 blocks is way smarter because it keeps matches fresher for longer. But they somehow have kept Tam and Momo apart for like 5 years, and those are like 2 of their top stars, like ever.
It feels like one of those things that just isn't on purpose. Just
Yeah.
happened to happen. Which is funny.
I mean, there's so many first-time singles matches that still haven't happened, even with top stars. It would
Yeah.
it should have happened already. So
Yeah. Dylan, I know what your pick is, so we're just gonna
Well, no, I would have Ida and May Sarah up there, but Mayu.
but it's not. It's
Yeah.
not your top pick. Then
Like
we have
that's one of my favorite matches for both of them individually.
True.
But it just so happens to be on the same show as Mayu and Azumi.
that anniversary match for Azumi last year was great.
Yeah.
We had to do Osaka on the 20th of August. Xena versus Sayori Ano, Shuri versus Koguma, Anna J versus Miyu Amasaki. Main event at any arena. Suzuki versus Tekla, Saya Kamitani versus Saki Kashima, and Rana Yagami versus Risa Sera.
This is
I
a
mean,
bad
Xena versus
card.
Sayori. Xena versus Sayori should be good because she's just gonna chop poor Sayori, and Sayori's gonna have to fight back. I'm gonna be yelling into my microphone, fight back every
Yeah.
single time. It's gonna be great.
Shout out Atlantis Jr. Yeah, I'm excited to see Saki Kashima roll Saya Kamitani's ass up. That's gonna be real funny.
That's true. That will be
I'm
very
excited
funny.
to see Koguma roll Shuri's ass up. That's gonna be real funny. Those are my only
Oh,
comments
that's on
on
the
this show.
same show. Damn.
Rana Yagami should win via countout. Just,
That's real.
just to make it even more funny.
Bro, imagine
Yeah.
if Raya Yagami came out in jeans and just like brawled just straight up. Just like, you know what, we doing this?
I
She
mean,
wants to smoke.
it's a weird card for Osaka too. But
That's a pro
yeah.
wrestling wave match, actually. Rana Yagami versus
Yeah.
Risa Sera. So, then we had the Sendai Pit. Why do they love the Sendai Pit? I don't get it. Why do we have to stack the Sendai Pit?
We should just change the show to Fukuoka. I
Yeah.
don't get
Yeah.
I don't get why they're not running a show in Fukuoka. I mean, it's likely because
do
it's
it
on the
every
side,
year.
but they are running shows in Kobe. So I don't know. They could easily pack 500-600 there. So
You got
maybe
Micah
take
versus
the 200 in Sendai, I guess.
You got Micah versus Suzuki, Natsupoi versus Minami, Konami versus Yuta Mizumori, and then Mayu Iwatani versus Mei Sera, Tam Nakano versus Tomoka Inaba, and Saida versus Momo Watanabe. This is the time I pick Micah and Hazuki because, yeah. But if there's a match, and I said this on Stardom Quest, I'll say it again. If there's a match that might get some noise, it's the Minami Natsupoi match. I have a little hope. In the Sendai girls wrestler comes home, wrestling the Wonder Stardom champion. I think that could be very good.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's likely one of the better B block sides in general because of the A block looking better. It's Manami against Natsupoi for me.
That
Upset
Sendai
City.
pit card is really fucking good. Even the weakest match is Unimon Konami, which I have a sneaking suspicion that Unimon's gonna get the upset, which
Real.
makes it interesting. I'm surprised you didn't go with Mayu versus Mei Sera, Scotty. But
I was trying to be different for once.
yeah.
I've picked Mayu every time. You know,
I
that's
would-
the
I-
match I want to pick.
I would pick the entire card, but I'll go with Tam Tomoka. I think that's a very interesting match.
Mayu versus Mei Sera is that one's made for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then the 24th, the second to final day, we have Shuri versus Xena, Starlight Kid versus Miyu Amasaki, Koguma versus Anna Jay, Saya Kamitani versus Suzuki, Hanan versus Rana Yagami, and Tekla versus Risa Sera in the
It's
Ice
probably
Ribbon Classic.
This might be the best individual day for Blue, especially for Blue B.
Yeah, because it's got the Ice Ribbon Classic.
It's got the Ice Ribbon Classic. Like you said, Suzu's going to try to get something outside Kamitani there. And I like Han and Rana. So that's definitely the best for Blue B.
Shuri versus Xena is real.
Yes. Starlight Kid and Miyu, I hope they kind of bring it
Also
a bit
real.
more than they did previously. And Koguma versus Anna Jay is probably going to be funny. Like I could see that being funny. And I know Pepsi said it's going to be the worst match of Stardom all year. But I don't know if you know this.
I mean, if we talk about singles match, it's going to be tough to top or like be lower than Konami with Shuri. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, like Konami, Shuri, Waka Tsukiyama's around. Like there's
No. Stop.
Waka
Waka
Tsukiyama is
Tsukiyama trains with Mike. I cannot hate her anymore.
Oh,
well, she's
brother.
bad. So
She
you
got
go.
worse when she started training with Micah. That's unfortunate.
Damn, you just played
Oh,
Micah
Trained
for
with
that.
Mina. It's not my fault.
When she's good, that's Micah trainer. When she's bad, it's Mina trainer.
I mean, Hanako trained with Mina and got bad too.
This is true. No, you're right. She trained with Micah, she started getting good, and then she started training with Mina, and it got worse. That's correct, actually.
And then on the 25th, it's the final day of block action before heading to the quarterfinals in Shizuku Face. It'll be Micah versus Minami, Hazuki versus Natsupoi, Ruaka versus Yuta Mizumori in Red Stars A. Then you have Mayu versus Tomoka, Tam versus Mei Sera, Saida versus Azumi. And on the blue side, you have Sayori Ano versus Koguma, Shuri versus Miyu Amasaki, and Xena versus Starlight Kid. They definitely have set up Shuri and Ano for the potential upsets on that night. So that should be a lot of fun. And then Blue Stars B, you have Suzu versus Rana Yagami, Saya Kamatani versus Hanan, and Saki Kashima versus Tekla. And the crowd goes mild.
The obvious is Mayu Inaba is going to be great, but that's just because Mayu is
Mayu.
Yeah, and the block is like I like Xena and Starlight Kid. I think that'll be an important match. Hazuki Natsubo is on the show. Never mind, Hazuki Natsubo. I forgot. Sorry, but
I was
Xena and
wondering
Starlight
why you
Kid.
kept going. I was like, do you not
No,
see Hazuki Natsubo?
I totally forgot that's the show we were talking about. Yeah, I think Xena and Starlight Kid will be interesting. I think it'll be important. I think Xena's going to get enough points to make it, a contentious battle. But I think Hazuki Natsubo is the
Peps.
match.
Yeah, I look. I mean, yeah, just to go away from the obvious ones, I think Shuri against Amazaki could be cool, simply because I would say that Amazaki's best singles match, if not like top 3, was against Shuri at the New Blood one. So it will be interesting to see how she improved since then.
Oh yeah, when she holds her like a baby.
Match ruled.
But the other way around this time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hit the pose. Sorry.
I'm hitting it. I ain't got. Well, Azumi's hitting the full extension pose.
That's true. That's true. My pick. Got a Hazuki Poi pick. We got a Shuri versus Miyu Amasaki pick. In my heart, I'd love to think Saya has figured out the heel stuff and Hanan's just this incredible baby face against her. But I don't know. I just don't know. So I'll go chalk, and I will just pick Hazuki Natsupoi because I'm really looking forward to that match. It's one of my most anticipated. And then, of course, on the 28th is the quarterfinals, and the 31st is the
click on playoffs so people know how it goes, because it turns out that's the correct.
Oh, playoffs.
Yeah.
Here's how it goes, folks. So it'll be red A1. So whoever finishes the top seed will face red B2, and red B1 will face red A2. Why can't we just pick different colors? Whatever. Then we'll have blue A1 versus blue B2 and blue B1 versus blue A2. And they'll advance and so on and so forth. But great bracket here. If anyone wants to keep track but not do the work themselves, luckily for you, that's why Dylan has this made. So
Correct.
Dylan has it tweeted. Might be his pinned tweet. I don't know.
It's not.
It's not. That probably should be, but it's fine.
That's the actual spreadsheet, like my spreadsheet.
Well, put it as a thread.
Yeah.
Put it in there. Put it in the thread. But definitely go check this out. It's very good to keep track of as this long tournament goes on for the next 21 days.
Yes.
Let me bring this back. And then it's time to pick the finalists, because I just realized I haven't done that yet. Oops. So, shocker, Saya Kamatani will be the one to win. This is the best picture I could get. This is the one that they posted. Every other one is her like close to the camera doing this, and I was like, all right, that's enough.
It's so funny that Ruaka has so much more aura than her.
Well, hey,
we're not even talking about Natsuko because Natsuko's Natsuko, but like Natsuko's beast.
Natsuko looks so sick. I'm not gonna lie.
But it is so.
The theme is awesome. The theme is awesome.
I like the theme.
I can't remember it. But Saya Kamatani is winning. I am looking forward to whatever her gear is, if anyone cares, because this is not going to be her gear the whole time, I hope.
You're telling me she's not going to be wearing the Jason Tatums?
No, I don't think so. Though, she wants to win a championship. Might be the way to go. Just saying. He won. Sorry if anyone hates the Celtics. Most people do. Understandably so.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Saya Kamatani, I think, makes it. She's representing hate, and I think her making it to the final after the switch makes a ton of sense, because in the end, nothing else matters. Tam is winning this tournament, and it's been a lot.
They should instead do Starlight Kid versus Azumi in the finals.
That would be
Just
sick.
fuck it. Just why not?
That would be awesome. Not going to happen. That'd be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. That's why it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So last year's planned dream Stardom Dream Queendom main event, Tam versus Saya Kamatani, returns this year in the finals of the GP, with Tam winning her first tournament.
Also their first match of the tournament last year, both of theirs, when
Yes.
Saya got hurt.
Yes, a lot of history in that match. Obviously, Tam's going to be the one to try to make Saya Kamatani rise above hate. It's not going to work, but she's going to have to beat her for it. I think Tam makes the most sense as winner for the company, for everything moving forward. I think Micah versus Saya Kamatani should be the direction for the end of the year show. And then that way you have two big time singles matches between Hate and the Stardom roster. It's Stardom versus Hate 2024.
Yeah.
Does that move you?
No.
Damn.
I mean a Kit Kat.
Do you both have the same pick? Tam winning?
Oh yeah, no.
I'm still outside Micah, but yeah, Tam.
Peps has to pick Micah. It's part of the rules.
I'm going to pick. Yeah, I mean it's obviously going to be Tam. And I have said it before. I was like, when people like, oh, like it was a couple of months ago. Yeah, Tam should not win the belt from Micah. I was like, this company needs an ace right now more than ever. That it's not like an ace that you throw in and they try to work. It's like an ace that they know from the beginning to win the belt, it's going to work. And that's like in the roster, it's just Tam pretty much and Mayu, but Mayu is Mayu now. And the only thing that kind of like makes me question is the Mayu thing where they teased it, but otherwise,
Tam could just win them all.
Yeah, either
I think that's more likely.
Or they just want to
include
Tam. But for me, it's 80% Tam, 90% Micah, 1% Kamitani. Kamitani only wins if Micah or Tam wins the belt before Queendom, which is not going to happen. But yeah,
that would be a crazy twist to all this. But why not?
I think Starlight Kid is probably my 1% instead of Sai Kamitani. In that same vein, where it's like, oh well, it's 80% Tam. In fact, I'd probably go like 85% Tam, 10% Micah, and then like 5% like Kid. You know what I mean?
Happy we helped Base.
Maybe. Like, and the thing is that like I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to change it up and have it so that it's like for an IWGP shot. But even then, Tam is also the favorite, so it's like it doesn't like if they want to change it up and be like, oh well, Tam actually is going to use this win to actually challenge IWGP. It's still Tam. So
I think Tam is winning all the belts. Okay,
Tam is inevitable.
Tam is inevitable. She's been inevitable since she got hurt, and since she came back. It's been inevitable. It's coming back. She's winning this belt. She's going to win the tournament. She's never won the tournament. She came so close, but Julia dropped her on her head. Didn't happen. So Julia just lost the title to her instead.
Just to throw in an annoying question. At least for Scott. How high would be Tam in the most decorated list if she wins the 5-star red belt in Stardom?
Would she be
top 3?
Yeah.
I don't know if she would be number 1, but top 3.
She could be number 1.
She would be like tied with Io. It's the only thing. It's the only thing she hasn't done.
Mayu's higher than Io.
But Mayu hasn't been a 2-time. Oh yeah,
she has.
Oh shit, yeah. Well, she would be. Tam would be like tied for top 3, like very easily.
Yeah, she would be top 3, which is crazy.
I was conflating. I was thinking Mayu and Io at the same time. The only thing that like Tam doesn't have is a golden armor run, which she has too. Like she won the double title, and I guess this is extra Cinderella, but that's not really a thing anymore. Nobody wins the Cinderella twice except for Mirai. It doesn't work anymore.
Except for Mirai. That's true. That is true. Which is crazy to think about.
She won tag league. Yeah, she will have won everything.
She'll be top 3, which is crazy.
And then she'll win the IWGP and she'll be number 1.
Mayu also won the IWGP.
Mayu's still number 1. Stop trying. Yeah. No, Mayu's still number 1. Bud.
Man, they want Tam to be the number one. Though.
Oh, I know they do.
That's the direction we're going. No, yeah, I think SWA belt and high speed that's where we're
bring
going.
that.
Yeah,
They're gonna bring
Mayu
that
also
belt back
had
just for doing it.
both Mayu and Io also had the longer world title runs and longer wonder title runs, especially Io.
Better, longer.
Yeah, but better doesn't matter in accolades.
Better matters to me. If it matters to
You're
me,
so valid
matters.
for that, Scotty.
Thank you.
You should be
But
like
that,
a WWE fan, Scott.
how dare you?
You shouldn't care. You should just hope that, I don't know, Mayu Iwatani runs out at 25 minutes into a Solo Sikoa main event, and then it shows 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I need well, Mayu Iwatani hasn't left, so that wouldn't work. I need.
But she did say if she was given $15 million, she would leave and bring Saito with her to be her little.
If it matters, anyone should leave for that much money. Guess what? She's not going to be offered that much money. So, I hope. I don't want anyone. It will good for her if she gets it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what I want.
You should have got to be you'd be dumb if you didn't take that. And she's like, yeah, no.
That was funny. All right. Well, that's it for the preview. I'm done. I have nothing left. Under 2 hours was the goal. We succeeded. Thank you, everyone that has listened. Believe in Tam, not Joe Henry. All right. That's the funniest comment of the entire thing. Thank you, Brad. Yeah, and I actually agree. You know what? I actually agree. I know.
I believe in Tam Nakano.
Pow, pow.
That was actually pretty good. Okay. That's how we're ending the show. Plugs. Dylan, plugs.
I think we're taking the week off Storm Quest this week.
This year, holy.
Yeah, this
shit.
year.
That's
No, we're taking. I believe we're taking. Alex might figure something out, but I'm taking the week off of Storm Quest this week because I need to. I ran out of passion. I need a refuel. But yeah, so check out Storm Quest every week. Scott was on recently. If you want to hear a different angle that we talked about the 5-star with Alex's questions that he did not prep at all. Every year we think he preps, he doesn't. My mom is calling me. I'm going to deny that real quick. That's my bad every time. But yeah, so Storm Quest every single week except for this week, and follow me on Twitter at xxichiban. I have these spreadsheets available and whatnot. You could DM me if you need them, or you could probably find them on my page because they're there. But I will be updating that 5-star sheet with the active chart, and I also will have my own that will kind of have my predictions and my wrestler of the tournament, match of the tournaments, all that good jazz. Kind of similar to a year-long match guide, but just specifically for the tournament. So have a lot of coverage for that coming up, whether I like it or not.
Peps.
Yeah. People know me at this point. Now,
well, yeah, but you still got to get the
conceited. You're so conceited, man. What the hell?
No, I'm at this point. I'm involved. Now,
you say this every time, and I say this every time. That's just how it goes. Go on.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Peps_Wrestling, where we will write a ton of stuff about this 5-star especially, and other promotions as well. Marigold, New Japan, Noah, whatever. You will find all my stuff there, podcasts, whatever. I will link that. So, yeah. Scott, time for you to plug it.
Yeah, I got a lot of plugs. So sit back, relax, and listen to them all. This is the first time ever I've remembered all my plugs, by the way, because I did it the other day on another show, and I had my co-host remind me I needed to do plugs. It was crazy. Shout out to Ryan. He's definitely not listening to this.
That guy's funny.
So I got my guide over on voicesofwrestling.com. Everything you need for the 5-star Grand Prix. We got blocks, schedule, stories, history, winners, stats, favorites, dark horses, matches to watch. Yeah, it just did seconds ago. So I got this up really quickly. It's everything you need. It's a lot. It has Dylan's thing linked at the bottom too, if you want to find it and not scroll through his Twitter. You'll get a lot of respectfulies if you do that. It can be dangerous. So go check that out. Very proud of that. It's 3,200 words overall. It's a lot, but hopefully it helps. It's not like I don't break down every competitor. There's some great other previews that do that. I'm just here to give you all the information, give you all the stats, everything and more. Then I have made the worst decision of my life. I am going to be reviewing every single 5-star show on my YouTube channel. So if you don't follow it now, it's Scott E Wrestling. It's easy. It's simple. After every single 5-star show, I'm going to put up a full show review up here on the channel that is different, that is away from the 5-star, away from any podcast. It's just something to do for fun. Let's see how much I go insane. I even got graphics made for it, folks. Like,
Damn.
this, yeah. This is special.
I will just praise myself here. I told Scott like 2 weeks ago that he should something for his,
100% Pep's fault.
that he should do something for his YouTube channel.
See,
So.
this is great because I actually was the one who said this word for word, and I'd never get blamed for it because I was like, "Oh yeah, the Ichiban Sweetcast does daily reviews of the G1, Alex. We should do that. Wouldn't that be funny?" And Scott's like, "Hmm."
and I, for some reason, said, "Oh, I should do that." So here I am doing it. It is Dylan's fault, but it's also Pep's fault because Pep's randomly said, "You should use your YouTube channel." So here I am trying to use my YouTube channel. You follow that now.
Folks need to put the money where the I don't know this saying.
That's correct. Put the money. I have to put the money where my mouth is. I think.
Yeah.
As you can see here, I haven't done anything in 5 months. Time to change that. But if you want to watch those videos, you can because they're short and fun.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Sorry, I had to do it.
I will be on at least one of those videos that Scott is doing for this 5-star.
Yes,
because he asked me and I said sure, and I don't know how many I'm gonna be. I don't know how many times I'm gonna feel like watching the 5-star within 24 hours is the bigger question.
Well, if you don't, you're gonna get really far behind, buddy.
This is true.
That's the problem this year. It's a good thing. It's good to be live, but it has made me come up with my worst idea ever, which is actually Dylan's fault. But
hell yeah,
I digress. You wanted the blame. I'm giving you the blame. But that's it. I don't have any more. I'm done. Get me out of here. I'm done. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure to subscribe if you don't subscribe to the channel yet. If you are just tuning in late, the whole MP3 will be up on the feed. This is the show for the week. I'm recording enough this week for other 5-star things. I don't want to do another 5-star this week. So hopefully this. What?
Wait! You gotta advertise your new show that you're doing.
Oh my god! I knew I forgot to plug. I always forgot to plug. I don't have it. I like to show images. I don't have an image to show.
I love that the non-wrestle purist guy is saying that,
and the two that, yeah.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Scott. I'm a big fan of 6-star, and I'm a big fan of Jamie. So
yeah,
I'm a big fan of the pod.
This Friday, at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. British Standard Time. Is that what it's called? British Standard Time? I'm just guessing here.
Yes.
Hey, how about that?
Just call it Bruv time.
Bruv time at 6 p.m. Bruv time. I will be jumping on the Gold Star, the debut of that show, with Jamie, Ross, and 6-star to talk the 5-star, to talk the Marigold lineup. That is a show about Joshi and Puro. I did not sign up for the second part. I'm joking. I just tried to make it Joshi only.
Watch Race side against humans. I thank you.
That's what I've been told. I've been told that so many people. So I'm going to listen to you, Peps. I'm going to do that right after this. Probably not. But it's nice to think I will. But I'm getting out of here. I've rambled off long enough. Thank you to both of you for joining me. This was a great 2 hours. Everyone, enjoy the 5-star Grand Prix. I'll be back next week to talk all the shows and everything that's going on in the world of Joshi. Until next time, see ya!